as of this recording. And we're gonna have it out probably end of October, early November. And that will be a self-distributed book that is literally the blueprint of everything I'm talking about. And within that book, I even tell the reader in the book, I'm using the method right now. I'm using a product that I've created in this book. My movies are used as case studies. The podcast is used as case studies. And I conveniently leave links inside for people to come find me. You see what I mean? So if you go out and see Ego and Desire and you've never heard of me, what are the chances that if you're a filmmaker or indie filmmaker or trying to be a filmmaker, that you might search me out? You might look me up based on just watching the movie. And then once you're in the ecosystem of what I've created, all the value I provide, all the things that I do, all the free services I provide, you're now learning and I'm building an audience that way. You see how holistic it all becomes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely food for thought for Artist Matters, because I'm just.
But that's what, and it works. I call it the filmtrepreneur method, but it's the same method in any art form. You could do it in music. You could do it in painting, in writing. There's multiple ways of making money with your art. You just have to think outside the box. You got to break this paradigm that you've been taught all this time, that if you're a screenwriter, the only way you're going to make money as a screenwriter is selling your screenplay. No, it's not. There's multiple ways you can make money as a writer. You can make. I had that kid Jonathan on. He basically was a mercenary short film screenwriter, and he was selling his shorts. He made $10,000 over a summer selling shorts and selling the copyright to those shorts, meaning that they basically was ghostwriting for other filmmakers, doing shorts. I mean, that's thinking outside the box. That's a filmtrepreneur method right there. That's exactly what it is. So in the world that we're moving into, I mean, distribution is horrendous. This whole thing with distributors is really going to create a big havoc in the industry. People aren't buying movies as much as they used to. They all want subscription or they want advertising or AVOD to watch movies for free with commercials. The industry is still changing so much. What do you think the independent filmmakers' chances are now? There's like how many streaming services? There's 3 huge ones coming out next year. Disney Plus, Apple, NBC, Universal, and Warner Brothers, a 4th one. So there's 4 huge monsters showing up. What do you think how much time do you think people have to literally consume an independent film? So the only way to break through all of that crap is to niche. You've got to niche down. You've got to go after an audience. If you are a skateboarder and you watch all the big Marvel movies, but if you have a movie that's about a skateboarder, what are the chances that that's going to cut through all the crap and you're going to watch that movie on skateboarding? Or surfing? Or a vegan chef? Or a filmmaker? You would stop watching everything else you're watching to watch the movie that I told you I pitched you about on the corner of Ego and Desire, because that's something that is interesting to you. That's something that you want to go down, regardless if you know who I am or not.
Right.
That is the key, the future for independent filmmaking. The future for independent filmmaking is to be an entrepreneurial filmmaker. It's the only way you're going to survive, in my eyes. I don't believe that there's going to be a sustainable model for $500,000 movies moving forward. I just don't think it is. It's going to be very difficult, even with stars, even with certain things happening. Sure, there'll be outliers. Sure, there'll be success stories. But generally, it's going to be extremely difficult unless you act as a filmtrepreneur, unless you start thinking about your film in a holistic ecosystem that you can create multiple revenue streams that will keep coming in for years to come. And then if you could do 1 movie, you could do 2, you could do 3, then you have a portfolio of movies. Then all of a sudden you have a business. And I lay out tons of case studies. This is not all pie in the sky stuff. I show examples of everything I'm talking about. So because I've had the pleasure of interviewing so many people, right? And I study the industry so much that I know these stories, that it's doable. It's possible. I'm living proof on a smaller scale. You know, I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but I make a living. I love what I'm doing, and I get to help people every day. I'm addicted to helping people. I'm addicted to guiding people and inspiring people. It's such an addictive thing. When you get an email or speak to somebody in person, it's like, man, you changed my life. Or because of your podcast, I was able to make my first short film, or something along those lines. That is crack for me. I love that. And it's my goal to educate, because I truly want to educate, inspire as many people and entertain as many people in my world as humanly possible. And there's just, it all starts with this concept of the business. And so many, I literally just had a conversation about this the other day, where it's like art versus commerce. Oh, I just want to be an artist. I'm like, dude, then be an artist, but then go paint something on canvas, brother. Because this is an expensive art form that takes a collaboration of a lot of people. There's politics involved. There's financing involved. There's so many different moving parts to making a movie. It's not even funny. So if you want to go play the guitar and express yourself as an artist, God bless you. You want to go to record a song, you could do that on your own. But to make a movie, you need a team. Even me, that I could do a lot, you still need somebody to help you out, man. Yep. You still need an actor. Unless you're an animator, other than that, you still need someone else to work with. And if you don't understand the business, you will not be able to do your show. Why not build something for yourself that you're able to make a living with your art? I mean, why not? It's doable. We are in a world that can do that, man. I have people who listen to me around the world. I have people who buy my products from around the world every day. People, consume my free content, pay for my paid stuff. It's all good to me, man. It's all good. Like as well as I do it, I give away 95% of everything I do. It's free. It's free. How many of those podcast episodes that you've heard that I could have easily charged for? Easily. Some of these things I'm listening to, I'm like, this is gold. I can't believe this guy's telling me all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's free. Why? Because I want to help as many people as possible. And then I'll charge for things that I make, like Indie Film Hustle TV and other things like that. But that's part of the business. If there's no business, man, you can't do this.
Where does this desire to help filmmakers and artists come from, you think?
I don't like bullies, and I don't like seeing pain especially in artists, and specifically my kind of artists, which are filmmakers and screenwriters for that matter. I've been abused too much in this business, and I think that's where it is. Going through shooting for the mob, and going through all the shrapnel and battles that I've been in. I think that's where I find my empathy, because I feel you. When you said I just made my first short film, I know exactly where you've been. I know exactly where you've been, literally, because I was in Florida doing it at the same, doing the same thing. I know what that feels like. I've walked the path that a lot of my listeners and a lot of my tribe have walked. And if I haven't walked it, I interview people who are walking it or have walked it, so I can bring that information back to them and to myself. You know how much better of a filmmaker I am purely because I've had 300 and almost 350 episodes or 400, whatever, with all of them. Like I've gained immense amounts of information and knowledge and experience purely by doing what I do. And if I can share that while I'm learning, Jesus, man. But that's where this comes from. I truly, honestly want to help people. And the way I deliver my message is not particularly sweet all the time. Because you know what? This business isn't sweet. And I would do you a disservice if I was sugarcoating it. So I come at you, and I come at you hard, and I come at you hard. But behind it all, there's love. Behind it all, I care and I'm empathetic to your cause. That's why I'm so rough on people. That's why those episodes that I talk about, like this is a rough love episode, guys. So, buckle up, because you're gonna hurt. You're gonna feel it at the end of this. It's because you need someone to just. Sometimes you just need someone to shake you. Yeah. And that's what I've been put on this earth to do. I shake people, and I try to help them and wake them up, because it's something I wish I would have had when I was going through it. I never had a mentor. I wanted one, but I was forced to be my own mentor. I educated myself. I've had guides, I've had friends, but I've never had a mentor. I'm reading a book right now. I read about two to three books a week. And I'm reading the book right now, The 50th Law, which is the book by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm like about an hour into it. It's amazing. And it's one thing he said is like 50 Cent lost his dad. He didn't know his dad. I think his dad died early on, and his mother was murdered at 8. So he never learned to rely on anybody else. He only learned how to rely on himself for survival. And that kind of grind and that kind of stuff that he had to deal with made him who he is today, made him a businessman, made him a mogul because of what he does and how he does it. But he relies on himself. He didn't have anybody to guide him. There are people who are lucky enough to have a guide or a mentor in their life. I wasn't one of those people. So that's why I try to be that to as many people as I can through my work. And if they hire me as a coach or a consultant, then I try to do it that way. But I always try to help and try to be of service to as many people as I possibly can. But that's where it comes from, man. That's where it comes, because I've walked your walk. I've been where you're at. I haven't been to the $25 million mountain. Like, when I made my first $25 million movie, it was so difficult. That is so far away from where my purview is. I live here on the street. If you seen Blade Runner?
It's been a while.
Okay, but you understand the concept of the top of that pyramid and where the good food is at the bottom where we meet Harrison Ford for the first time? That's where I live. I live down there where it's very colorful and a lot of languages and a lot of the crap and that's where I live. And that's where most independent filmmakers live. So a lot of times when these guys come in from the tower trying to talk about this level, they don't live here. Or they haven't lived there in many, 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 many years. I live here. I breathe here. I bought a house here.
Have your children shown interest in filmmaking or any creative arts?
Yeah, my kids have shown some interest in some of the creative arts. They see what Daddy does. We're all. I feel, and it's been scientifically proven in many ways. I study neuroscience a lot. I'm fascinated with the mind and how the mind works and all that kind of stuff. So the concept of basically you are the programming of your first 7 years of life. So whatever you are, whoever you are, you're going to learn to be that person within the first 7 years. So that means you're going to learn from everybody around you. Your habits, the things that are said, the people you experience, the environment you live in is all coming in during those first 7 years. That's the software. That is your operating system that you're given. Because why do the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor? Why do when lottery winners win $80 million and 5 years later they're broke or dead? They don't have the software to handle it. They don't have the programming to handle it. Unfortunately, we don't realize that we're running Windows 3.11 on a Mac. Like, we don't understand that, and we don't upgrade our system. We're still living with beliefs that we had when we were kids. So when rich people stay rich, it's because they were surrounded on a subconscious level they just know instinctively what to do because they saw their parents do it, or they watched their friends do it, or the Uncle Bob that came over, or the world that they lived in. They just knew it because it's something that they don't even think about. It's kind of like a kid that's born into a family of gymnasts or of acrobats. They just know how to do it. I don't know how to do that. I wasn't in my world. They're just programmed how to do it in many ways. So, and then poor people think about, it's poor. I got to hustle. I got to work. I got to work for a living. I got to do this. I got to do that. They don't think about building a business that generates revenue for themselves. They don't pass the whole dollars for hours mindset, and that's something that a lot of people have a hard time breaking through because it's something that there's a belief there. So I forgot what the original question was. Oh, my kids. So they're seeing Daddy write books. They're seeing Daddy make movies. They're seeing Mommy, do what she does. All of these things are subconscious. They're seeing where we live, how we live, what kind of morals we have, what kind of people we hang out with. They see all of it. They see a daddy who takes care of their mommy. That they're being raised in an environment where they know what a man should be. And that's what I'm trying to be as a father. And they see that. So when a guy does show up, they're not going to be attracted to the abusive guy. They wouldn't put up with that because that's something that they've never seen and would never It's not in their programming. But if you're raised in an environment